Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the GPD Win 2. It's a bit of a retro review as the device came out in May of 2018. It is a portable gaming PC. The company GPD is kind of known for pioneering interesting ideas in the space of handheld gaming devices. The specs on here are an Intel, I want to say that was an M7. The default model comes with a 128 gigabyte SSD. You can also use a micro SD slot. The controller here, you can switch back and forth between keyboard and mouse mode or to the controller mode. Trying to keep it all on camera so that way y'all can see about the startup time. But real quick, while it's doing that, it used a chiclet style keyboard, and right there is the power button in the center. No L3 and R3 on here, but if we go around back, you'll find that they've added separate L3 and R3 bumper buttons. They also have the standard R1, R2, L1, and L2 buttons. These are digital instead of analog, so you will probably end up not doing any racing on here unless you're probably a bit of a glutton for punishment, if I'm being fair. Moving along, we have the HDMI, which I believe is a mini HDMI. We have a micro SD slot here, as I mentioned before, a 3.0 USB port, thankfully a full size. You can hook up a hub there if you're just playing it on the device itself. You have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and the Type-C for charging, or if you feel like it, you can use a dock. And that's about it. They do have a nice, easy to reach hatch for the SSD, and I have a 1 terabyte drive in mine. It was upgraded. And yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. There's really no more I/O than that. Though I personally think having the mini HDMI is kind of a cool idea, though most of these cables I bought in the past are kind of fragile, so I personally would rather use the Type-C dock if possible. But as for the specs, it also comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM. That is DDR3. It's still good enough to get the job done. And we're going to take a closer look at the software, hooking this up to my capture device. And now we're going to log in real quick. Using the capture device as mentioned earlier, we'll get a better look at all the action. I always recommend that you make sure that even after you kind of got it set up the way you want to get it set up, you go into the startup and make sure that there's nothing unnecessary starting up. You want to make sure you have as much of the power free as you can. Thankfully, the initial setup is not really that long, but once you're in, it still seems to take a little while longer. There we go. we'll start off with something kind of easy. Don't want to overtax the system right away. Little Secret of Mana. Now, for some reason, we are still windowed. Not really sure why the game is refusing to go full screen, but overall it runs really well. I'm not sure why the audio cut out. Hopefully that is not right now we are running Windows 11, I believe. Some people would probably recommend that you stick to a lower OS, I think, but I haven't really had any problems using Windows 11. Next up, we got Borderlands. I like to do these videos with no cut. Up, and looks like, well, unscripted video. Sometimes you get that. We'll try a couple more games after this one, and then I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts. And this is the problem I was hoping we would not get, people. Okay, so apparently it doesn't like grid either. We can always enjoy a little Skyrim, though. I think the computer may be a little optimistic when it selected Ultra, but I suppose we'll find out. Now I have to admit that sometimes you come up with very odd and very unique problems that have never shown themselves before. And I will say that this does highlight one particularly strange problem. A lot of the early, their default aspect ratio was not in fact landscape but portrait, and that they used a modification to, I want to say one of the startup files, probably an INI, to make it landscape. But unfortunately, when you are doing this kind of thing like I'm doing, and sometimes you have that problem. Now I will say that I can't really honestly recommend this device at its original brand new amount. This is more if you come across it in, say, a garage sale, or maybe someone on eBay selling it super cheap. And while the capture device can't show you this, on the actual device it is showing it in landscape mode for some reason. So as long as you're not hooking this up to a big screen, it could still work without any problems. Well, the good news is that you can see it really still can run pretty well. I did take it down to low just to be on the safe side, but yeah, this is definitely more of a kind of device for people who kind of know what they're doing, of course. So kind of for a good device for hobbyists. I don't have any ROMs on here to show off, but in theory it should run ROMs really well. And it might even benefit from putting a different type of operating system, maybe Linux. But again, you kind of have to know what you're doing if you're going to go that route. This will be our last game to show off. then I'll give you my any final impressions I have. I guess though, really, if you've heard me so far, you'll know that it isn't terrible, but you can see that it's had problems already. 2 games wouldn't even open, 1 game opened on its side, the other one refused to go full screen. So, I know, not the best look. Overall, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10 overall. I'd really like to show Bioshock before we call this a wrap. I'll say for a second that I was a big fan of Bioshock Infinite. Oh, that's why it's taking so long. They added a stupid launcher app. I really wish these companies would realize they don't need their own launcher. They can just use Steam's launcher. Being forced to go through the entire legal document before you can play a game now exactly what do they think that is so very, very important about their very important game that it justifies all that? There we go, guys. I think we're making some progress. I gotta say, that is really weird. Why are we going that way on the big screen? I have a theory. I'll see the thing. I think I need to deactivate the display on the device, and I bet you that will clear it up. Oh boy, I may end up with a copyright strike if I'm not careful. For some reason, we're still not full screen mode. I mean, I know we're not in the game itself yet, but so far everything's kind of running okay. According to the frame counter, we're at 30, so... Admittedly, I'm not that great at this particular game, but I'm going to give my best. So, there is a lesson that we have all learned today, boys and girls. If you're going to capture a device, the GPD Win 2, or just try to put it on a big screen, turn off the built-in display. Otherwise, it's going to ruin everything.
Get away from me!
Hey, come back here!
All dead. You killed those people.
Elizabeth,
You're a monster.
what did you think was gonna happen? Do you understand the expense people went through to keep you locked up in that tower? You think people like that are just gonna let you walk away? You are an investment, and you will not be safe until you are far away from here.
What do they want from me?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to stop here.
That's the last time.
I said we're going to stop here, Booker. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps out a lot. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video, and I apologize that it's a little bit janky. This is kind of my first real edited video. So, have a wonderful day.